Hello everyone, I'm Diane, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. So today I'm going to share a couple of recent makes with you. So these are makes that I made before the Christmas period, just before, and one of them is a gift that I couldn't share at the time because it was for my friend, and now that's been dispatched off to my friend so I can share that now. And the other is a robe. Now this particular robe I have made for the summer, so the coming sort of spring summer period, but I've made it now because I had the fabric and it's a really nice robe, and I also think it would make a really good birthday present for somebody if you're looking for a few gifts to make this year. So I'm going to share that with you. So I hope you're all doing really well and you've had a really good start to the new year. I hope you're keeping up with some of your promises to yourself if you've made a few, and also if you're sticking to your challenge, if you're trying to save a little bit of money this month or for the whole of the coming year. So I've been trying to stick to my plans and go through a few of my fabrics and think that what I might like to make with them over the next few months. And I've also got a few plans for a few videos on a few scrap busting projects coming in the next couple of weeks. So I'll be sharing that shortly. Now, I'm going to do the robe first of all because I'm just so pleased with it. Now, I do have to let you know that this fabric was gifted to me as part of a brand ambassador project for Minerva. Now, this video is not paid, this is just all my personal opinions. I just had to write a post for them over on their channel. So just get that out of the way before we begin. So this fabric is a challis. So it's a viscose challis fabric and I just love the print. So I'll pop it below in the description, the video description, what it actually is in case you're interested. But I have got another top in the blue and green version of this. So I really do like this print just because of all the colours in it. So it's a drop shoulder robe and the sleeves come off it here like this in sort of long rectangles, and then they've got a really deep hem there so it makes it really substantial at the bottom of the cuff. Then it's got a tie belt around it and some belt loops, and it crosses over at the front, so a traditional robe. So I'm inserting some images so that you can see what it looks like when it's being worn. Now I think it'll be really great if you're going to give somebody a handmade present, because it's really difficult to go wrong with a robe like this because they wrap around. The sizing is really generous and also really forgiving. So if you're looking to make something handmade for somebody, I think a robe like this is a really good choice because you can go on their favourite colours, or if it's for a younger person it might be sort of a character or an animal or something like that, and you can really pick out something that they love and then make the robe in that fabric. So I think that would be a really good idea for a present. I'm just going to pop that down. Now, I wrote it down, but I'm also going to again pop it on screen. So it was Simplicity 1563. So there's other things on that pattern that you can make, also other loungewear or nightwear. So it's a really good choice. And I've made it once before. This is the second time I've made it, and I'm sure I'll be using it to make things again in future. I may even make a few gifts myself later in the year from that particular pattern. Now the next thing I have to share is the gift that I made for my friend. So this was a personalised gift. So it was a t-shirt. So I made the t-shirt, but then I personalised it by putting the family initials on the front. Now there's different ways that you can do this, but first of all I just used paper, any paper that you have, to cut out the heart shape. So that was the background for my initials, and then just using lined paper, you could use stiffer paper if you have it to hand. I've just cut out the initials of the family members, and then I've used different fabrics, all that went with the backing fabric, which was the main of the t-shirt. So in this case it was pink. So depending on what main fabric you're using for the t-shirt, you could look in your scraps and find all colours that sort of go together. So they don't all have to be the same, but they could be in the same colour range. Alternatively, you could do like bold primary colours, all completely different, and do it that way. So what I did was I've just cut out the heart and then I've placed them on sort of in the quarters of the heart. So if you fold it and then fold it again and then space them out. I used a plique, so I appliqued it on the machine, and the way that I've done this is I've just changed it to a zigzag stitch, and then just play around with this and try it out a little bit before you begin on some scrap. So decide on what sort of width you want your zigzag make the stitch length really small so that it's going pretty much in the same place for a while before it moves on. And when you do this, you just move it slightly as you're going round. So if you're going on a curve, you need to make sure that you're pushing the fabric round as you do this. It's easier on the straight ones, I have to say. But once you've done it a few times, you'll find that you get really quick. So I've done this lots of times on different things in the past when I've been doing designs on bags and things. So I'm really quite practiced at this now, but at first it's tricky just to get it sort of half on, half off the edge of your shape or letter that you're using. So just have a little experiment first, and then you'll find that it's really easy. Another way that you could do this is you could hand stitch it on, and making sure that you catch in the edge of the letter and the edge of the t-shirt as you go around, or the edge of the shape that you've got it placed on the back of. And finally, you could use felts. So if you use anything like felt, or if you're doing it on a bag or something like that, you could use faux leather. But if you use felt or faux leather, you don't actually need to be catching on and off the side of the letter or shape. You can just stitch neatly all the way around it and it won't fray. So that's a few different ways that you could do that. So I've been told that she really likes it, and my friend did ask for something personalised because she always likes personalised gifts. So this was one of the presents that I got her, or I made for her, and then I also bought a little bit of something else to go with it. But I was really pleased with how it turns out, and I think sometimes if you make something like that and you do put initials on it, it makes it that bit more personal, and also less like something that maybe they could have got from the shop, or somebody else might have bought them from the shop. And of course it's nicer if you do it. It's a great way to use up scraps, and also use up really small pieces that you probably wouldn't be able to use on much else unless you're into quilting or like scrap busting in that way. So that's what I did with that, and I really enjoyed making it. So a few other plans that I have in mind. Now I do have in mind a lap quilt, or rather a seat quilt for my downstairs sofa. So I'll be sharing that with you. I have made one in the past, so I'm going to be making another. I just haven't decided on the final sort of patchwork design for it yet. So I got my new book that I got from my son for Christmas. I'm going to be having a look through there and deciding on an actual pattern, and then I'll be going through all my scraps and thinking about how I'm going to piece them together and making sure I plan it nicely before I begin. And just like that, it's gone dark outside. Really strange, it was really bright a moment ago. So a couple of the designs that I was looking at were these right here, but I'm sort of thinking maybe I'm going for something a little bit too complicated straight away. I mean, there is an example of a quilt with all different ones in this book, so maybe I could do that, but maybe I'm better off sticking to something a little bit more simple before I get started. So they are blocks with unusual shapes. I mean, I really love this one, but that looks quite complicated, but I suppose if you take your time. So what else did I like? I like all of them. I think that looks quite fun and easy. Maybe it's not as easy as it looks. Dutchman's Puzzle, just there. Oh, here's the picture of the quilt that I was talking about. So as you can see, that's got all different blocks going on in that one. And I think that one looks really nice. And also because it's got so many colours in, I think it's a good one to have, because I want mine on the sofa when my pet sits on the sofa. You don't want anything that's too light and white background if the pet's jumping on it all the time. I mean, it will be getting washed, but still, you don't want anything that's going to get stained or grubby that way, do you? So I'll have a think, and then I'll share with you what I decide on. The other thing is I'm going to be making some coasters, and these all have an animal theme. Now I've done this before in the past. I've got one with an elephant on. Again, it uses the applique method, so I'll be sharing that with you. Scrap denim and also handmade bias tape that you put around the edge, so I'll be sharing that in a future video. I hope you all have a really good week, and I will be back soon with you with some more sewing inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.